Ji, she's here as well. Hello, Salma ji, Ali Madad.
Ali Madad, everyone. सबको सलाम, नमस्ते, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल, गुड इवनिंग. कैसे हैं आप लोग सब? उम्मीद है सब खैरियत से होंगे, सबकी सेहत अच्छी होगी और ज्यादा बोर नहीं हो रहे होंगे. लेकिन मुझे पता है कि it's not that much fun, but try to get busy in something or the other, so that's better. तो सब
जी जी
खैरियत
जी.
है जलाल?
यहाँ सब ठीक है, ऊपर वाले की मेहरबानी है. Thank God, it's all good.
Yeah.
तो आजकल I think we are doing much better. The whole Canada is doing much better on जो है COVID-19. So I think as long as we can do our part, stay 2 meters apart, wash our hands. So I think we should be okay.
I think so too. You just have to be careful that if we are careful, then we cannot spread it as much.
Exactly.
So that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let me, add our guest. He's here, waiting for us as well. As you guys know, हम जो advertise करते आ रहे थे, Chef Ali Jadavji, he'll be our guest today, and he's here right now. Hello, Ali Madad.
Hello, Yali Madad. How are you?
Madad. Now today, I'm going to be your interviewer. I am not going to be as your mom.
Okay, well, make sure you take it a little easy on me, huh?
Now let Jalal ask lots of questions from you.
Don't put me on a bad spot, guys.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome.
I think it's going to be lots of fun. So, let's start. Ali, of course, we saw you on Eat Time on Smiley TV. But a few years back we saw you on a Masterchef, and I think that time we found out you can cook as well as much as your mom does and your dad does. So I think tell us about yourself. Who's Ali to start with?
Well, I'm if we're talking chef variety, I'm a home chef from Calgary, Alberta, and from my background, my dad being from Moshi, Tanzania, and my mom being from Karachi, Pakistan, I've had the fortunate ability to meld those two cultures, and which has led me to exposure and to really explore different sorts of cuisines, and that's sort of where I'm at right now. I've started my own business. It's called the Kinetic YYC. So it does deliverable bulk protein and roasted vegetables to your home. I also do lots of private dinners, at this time socially distanced in people's homes. And I just recently started a new series on my Instagram page called A Crisp 20, trying to provide viewers with making luxurious or healthy meals for under $20.
Oh, wow.
That's a great initiative. Yeah, and I'm happy that you're doing it, because I think lots of people will follow you for that, because it's under 20 and it's a very reasonable number of cost, that people will follow you for that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you started something new. Yeah, great.
Okay,
Yes,
so Ali, so when you were growing up, so of course, you love the food, I guess. So do you remember what was your favorite food when you were growing up or in your childhood?
Growing up, ironically, all of my friends and my family still make fun of me to this day because I never used to eat colored rice. And so if rice had any sort of color in it, I would avoid it. And I would always throw temper tantrums that I wanted to only eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's such a far cry from what's happened in my life now. So growing up until, maybe I was a teenager, I didn't explore that much. But, it was through travel and my mom and dad's cultures that I was exposed to many different things where I really started to develop a palate.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's great. So tell us, now you have your Kinetic going, your Crisp 20 going, and you're busy with making food. Have you thought of anything that you want to do now in future?
I think, the end goal is to definitely open a brick and mortar type of place. Mm-hmm. And the way that I would say it is that food is the great unifier. One of my mentors, the late Anthony Bourdain, has said this in one of his episodes. And, living in today's time with what's happening in the world today, you could be from any different sort of background. You can not speak the same language. But when you sit down across the table from one another and share a meal, it's the great unifier. And so I hope to open a place in the near future where people can come from different faiths, different religions, different classes, different socioeconomic, backgrounds, and just have a good time together. So that's what I want to be doing.
That's so
So, when you were growing up, of course, you are like your friends probably are bugging you all the time. Okay, why don't you cook us this? Or why don't you have this? Why don't we go for barbecue? Then you are cooking. You are the only ones cooking. That, that used to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. With my closest friends, I have fond memories of us going on boys' trips where, we would go on golfing trips. We would say, okay, now what are we going to do for food? And what is Ali going to be preparing for food? So, at that time, I had an interest in it. But I think, Jalal, it's a good question, because what I would say is that, that ability to create something where people enjoy so much and everyone is on a level playing field is the greatest thing. It doesn't matter what happened on the golf course, but after we're enjoying a meal, that was the greatest joy, and it's still one of my fondest memories to this day.
Oh, okay. Do you remember your friends, who used to bug you all the time? Do you have any particular name?
I remember some really close friends of mine.
And can you name any of them?
Yeah, I have friends, Rahim and Hussein and Ali Khan and Nahid and Farouk and Aleem and Alif, and the list will go on and on from my friends.
Okay. So we have a surprise for you. Actually, your mom doesn't know either.
Okay.
So I have a surprise for you, and you have to guess who is this special guest.
Okay.
So
do I get any hints?
Yeah. So he will say yes. Hello, are you there? Okay, you wanna say something?
Is he?
I know this guy.
That's so nice.
Hello.
I'm just glad that I said his name in one of my friends.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Yeah,
welcome.
you know what? I was trying to get him, but he did mention your name, so he is good now.
That's nice.
How's everybody doing?
Very well. How about you?
Good. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks for coming. So tell us something about Ali which we don't know.
Yeah, you can share any kind of secrets, like camping secrets or golf secrets.
For sure. I wasn't on the call earlier, so if anything I say is repetition, please excuse me. Before COVID, whenever my wife and I were out, whether it was having dinner or at Kane or even just going for walks in the neighborhood, anytime Ali's name came up with mutual friends or even strangers that sort of assumed that I knew Ali, people often asked, when did this all start for Ali, or what was he like as a youngster? And so I often tell them, I never knew Ali during his early years. So when people tell me stories that he would be refusing to eat anything but, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, I can't attest to that. But what I can tell you is that at some point, sort of along our friendship, when Ali sort of found this passion and sort of ran with it, we used to have a lot of get-togethers, and often we'd rotate sort of different households, and I would be completely open to that. But the moment Ali's cooking took the forefront, to be honest with you, anytime there was a get together, I actually refused to go to anybody else's house. I would only want to go to Ali's house for selfish reasons, of course, because I wanted him to sort of be cooking, and I wanted to enjoy the fruits of his labor. So yeah, I know it's not probably, I'm sure there are funnier stories that friends and family could share, but anytime I'm out and people ask, when did this start for Ali? I just tell them I can't pinpoint the exact timeline, but I'm just so happy that he's found this passion, because I get to enjoy the fruits of his labor now.
That's so nice of you to say that.
Thank you for
yeah.
That's so great to have
it's probably not as fun for Ali when I tell him that we can't go anywhere else other than his place, because then he's stuck in the kitchen once again.
But he doesn't mind that, I can tell you.
He doesn't mind that. I heard a few words just before I came on where he said, I think part of the joy, whether it was him or some of the chef mentors that he looks up to, part of the joy of cooking is the pleasure that you're bringing to others. And I think that is something that's very unique to that particular sort of area, where, there's this constant joy that you can see every time you cook.
That's right.
So
yeah.
I think everything I was trying to say, Farooq summed it up eloquently, because I don't have the gift of words like he has.
Yeah, the what profession he's in, right?
Yes.
No, and I probably haven't summed everything up or articulated as much as I want to, but definitely, I think I speak for all of his friends when I say just how proud we are of him, and how awesome it is to see him on this journey. We're excited for even more things to come as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah. That's so Ali, you got a surprise?
I know Jalal's trying to talk, but Jalal, I think you're on mute there, so we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, actually, yeah, well, actually, my mute was on. No, I was just saying thank you, Farooq, for joining us for the short notice. I think he was surprised. I can see that. So
I was definitely surprised.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
When circumstances change, or if circumstances were different right now, I'd probably say, okay, let's go meet and have some of Ali's cooking.
Drive by doggy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Farooq. It was fun. Thank you, buddy.
Much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. I wish everybody well and stay safe. Take care.
Same
Take care. Thank you.
Okay, take care. See you.
Well, that was a nice surprise. Thank you for that.
Yes, Salmaji.
Yeah, so Jalal, you should ask questions. I know.
I should ask question. So of course, I wanna really wanna ask you about the Masterchef. It was, I think, one of the experience. Even though that season I watched the whole season. It was so much fun. It's so much pressure. Of course, when you were going through, and let me announce this, like you were the one of the 24 out of 4,000 who made it to the kind of the final 24. I think this is, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Out of 4,000. So how much was the pressure on you when you were going through all this?
There was quite a bit of pressure. The thing that people don't realize is that when you're being timed cooking, if you picture yourself, even if you make the simplest thing at home, you're never timed. Yeah. You have time, that's not of essence. But all of a sudden, when there's a time pressure placed on you, I think that's what becomes detrimental to your success or your failure. And so, you're always thinking at the back of your mind, okay, I only have 60 minutes to do this. And you definitely want to push the envelope and say, okay, I want to take this dish further. I want to keep on going. but you're limited by that time. And so when you speak of pressure, I think that's the number one thing that causes that pressure. It's that timing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
right. So true. So true. Yeah. Yeah. It's so different when you are under pressure and cooking in these kind of shows, but it's so different when you are. So have you thought of any names, what you're going to name your, if you open up a restaurant or something, have you got some names on your mind?
I've been going through a little bit of a brainstorming session, and I don't want to give too much away. But, we're probably down to 10 or 12 names, and we're going to be casting a wide net as to what people think about that. And so hopefully soon I can share that information with you.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead.
So what's the best thing, what I should say, a cuisine or a dish, or what's the best thing you like to cook?
From a personal standpoint, from a therapeutic standpoint, it's definitely making fresh pasta. Taking flour, mixing egg yolks into it, letting it rest for 30 minutes for the gluten to develop, and then taking an old school pasta machine and cranking it out and, seeing those sheets, that's definitely a very therapeutic thing for me to cook. So I would say fresh pasta is, on the top of my list.
On the top
Yeah.
of it. Oh,
Nice. So, if you ask any singer, if they if they don't have anything to do, or if they are kind of having a bad day, they start to sing. Or if any dancer performer, then they perform just to release their, you can say, mental pressure. So as a chef, so then what you do? You do the same thing. You start to cook something new.
I do the same exact thing. So,
is that right? Oh.
Yeah, it's funny that my fiance, who likes to eat but doesn't like to cook as much, she often says to me, you spend most of your day cooking, but when you've had a really bad day, how come you want to cook more? And for me, it's an exploration thing. It's trying new flavors together, seeing what works. I would sort of, with your co-interviewer, also my mother, probably feels the same way about her art. It's that creativity that you can come up with. And in the kitchen, I feel creative. It's melding flavors together. And so I would say it is a definite stress release for me.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So now you're cooking these days. So what people like the most about, the dishes, what people have been ordering? What do they like?
Lots of people have been liking the fusion cuisine. As I mentioned, with you being from Pakistan and my dad being from Tanzania, that fusion where, East African food has a lot of Indian flavors and Indian spices, coming from the Indo subcontinent. And so when people who don't know what that cuisine is taste, it becomes a popular item. It's something like that you've never tried before. So taking something as simple as mishkaki and, giving them something like beef cubes, but putting Indian spices or East African spices in it, it's a whole new experience for them.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
And recently you were on the Smiley TV and about the Jalebi.
Yes.
So how was that experience?
It was interesting. It was difficult. That was my first time making jalebi. And what I found out in that whole process is how something, people say, obviously, like to eat jalebi, but it's such a technical thing.
Yes.
And the reason that I say technical is because the jalebi is determined on how it turns out on so many different steps, down to how the temperature of the oil. If your oil is too hot or too cold, you don't get that crisp of that jalebi of how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And so it was a roller coaster, I won't lie. But I'm glad that I could come up with something on my first time. But I'm far from perfection on that recipe.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
And I
you
think
enjoy?
that, yeah.
Huh. Did
No,
you
no, I
enjoy
think that
cooking
video is
for them?
available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
I
cooking?
think it's come together. We made 4 items that day on Eid celebration, and we were able to show cuisine from 4 different areas in the world of how people experience Eid and what they eat for Eid celebrations.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you want to check that out, like Jalal mentioned, that's available.
Oh, great. That's
Yeah.
so nice. Yeah.
Okay, Salamaji, there is a question for you. When you guys go out all together,
Yeah.
like your husband and Ali as well. So if he goes to restaurants, so does anyone complain? Or there is too much spicy, less salt in it. It's not good. It's not cooked. It's not that well cooked. Does anyone complain?
My husband and Ali are the ones who give all their critics. Like I'm
Okay.
very flexible with food. Yeah, I started to enjoy food after I got married, and
Uh-huh.
I cooked a lot. I didn't know how to cook, but I learned because of my husband, and
Yeah.
that's why my children have got a very, very high, like what should I say, high taste in where the food is
Food.
concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they will say something, but for me, I am like one of those who'll eat anything and everything kind of a but my husband and my son both
Yeah,
will
you
say,
know what's
yeah,
funny? Truth be told, my mom may not critique restaurant food, but she'll definitely critique my food.
yeah, but I want him to improve.
Improve. Yes. No doubt. Yeah.
Definitely. So that I want
Yeah.
him to get better and better.
Better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
say, okay, this thing is missing something and the salt is more or the salt is less. It has to be like this, because now I've learned also because of these guys, 2 guys in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ali, what about your your company Kinetic YYC? So, how can we order it if you're gonna share some details?
Sure, yeah. So the deliveries happen Monday through Thursday, and you can go onto the website, which is www.thekineticyyc.com. So it's TheKineticYYC.com. You can also Google it, and you'll be able to find it. And you can order right from the website. If you order, you can pre-order, a couple of days in advance, but you can also order for same-day delivery. So if you go until, you can order before 10 a.m. and you'll get it the same day if you'd like. There's lots of different options, lots of different keto options, lots of different, traditional cuisine options, roasted vegetable options, and there are menu items that rotate. So there's some new things once in a while, and you'll be able to order right from the website.
Great. That's good.
Yeah.
That's so it's good that people come to know about all this. So if anybody wants to order that.
Yeah, and I should mention that it is fully cooked, so you don't have to do anything. It comes in containers for you that you can stick in the microwave to heat up, and it's ready just to heat and eat.
Good. Yeah.
Sorry, Jalal, I can't hear you there.
Oh, sorry, I mute myself because when you were talking. So, just want to mention that as well. Like, we are trying to spread a word for the AKDN. If you can, people can go online, akdn.org, and they can contribute to Global Pandemic Relief Fund. And the link is on, in the comment section as well. So anyone who's watching now or later on, please, guys, if you can just contribute whatever you can, then 100% of your contribution will go to the people in need. Ji Salmaji, what do you want to say?
Yeah, what can I say? I'm very proud of him that he's doing such a good job of his cooking, and he's building up relationships, also meeting tons of different people, and people have come to know about his cooking. So, and I can, not because he's my son, but I can say he is a really good cook.
Thank
And
Yeah,
we always sample his food, and we give our honest opinion to him that what can be done better. So so it's always, we have such good food at home, and lately he has added a few things, which few of them are really favorite of mine. So I'm enjoying the food what he cooks. Yeah.
nice. Okay, before I let you go, Ali, so there are so many people are watching. I'm going to name a few of them. Jen Chaudhary, thank you, Jay. Then there is Hardyal, Moise, Sunil, Afroz, Shireen, Nisha Devani, Nadir, singer Asif Jere. Hello, singer. Hello, Asif bhai. Thank you so much. Temur, hello, Yaliman Temur, Muhammad, Abid, of course, Narmin Jamal. There is a Suleiman. Thank you, Suleiman. Neelam, Devesh, Salim, Sadiq Rahmani from Australia. Hello, Sadiq bhai. Thank you so much. Farida, Shamsha, Rees Larak, my son is watching from Montreal. Shalina, Faisal, Shabnam from Vancouver, Wazir Musa, Alnurs, and there are so many more people are watching. Thank you everyone for joining us today for the very lively, very full of food edition.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, before going, Ali, you want to give any message to all
Yes.
the youngsters who want to pursue this, especially this profession?
Yeah, what I would say is that don't be afraid to explore in the kitchen. For many people, food is a daunting subject. They say, I don't know how to cook, but just get in there and have fun with it. It's not a make or break type of thing. You get to, if you screw up, you just start again. Ingredients are there. From a profession point of view, it needs to be a labor of love. You need to love it enough for you to say, I could see myself doing this every day. And it's important in any industry, I think, you had mentioned this, Mom, is, to form relationships. There's always education to be had in whatever field that you're in. And the same is with cooking. It's an endless possibility of what you can learn from a technical standpoint and what you can read about cultures and where food comes from.
Great. Yeah.
That's right. What's the website again?
It is www.thekineticyyc.com.
Awesome.
Good. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank
nice
you so much,
to have
Ali. All the best to you.
luck with everything, and
Thank you.
we'll be sampling more food.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
It was fun. Thank you so much, Ali.
Okay. Have a good day.
Bye.
Yeah, see ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So guys, ये थे Ali Jadavji, Chef Ali. You can find him at thekineticyyc.com. Am I right, Salma ji?